Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... Before we get started with this video, I've just been informed that it is in fact going to be fallback, so I got a little bit of extra time on my hands. That's not the reason why, I don't want to tell the story anyway. Because I was scrolling through the Gacha Fest playlist, as I often have been doing for the past month, in order to find things to review, and whether or not the place is updated. It has. And one of the things it's updated with was this video. But I want to talk about a different one that was on there. Does anyone remember My Tiny Human, one of the series by the Gacha shipper that we reviewed way back in November of 2022? And I know that date because I checked the date for reasons that'll come up in a second. Yeah, what turns out that somebody, I'm glad you remember. Turns out that somebody actually has been re-uploading a lot of the Gacha shippers videos onto their channel. At first, I thought the channel itself was just the Gacha shipper potentially re-uploading videos, but actually no. I thought maybe, the Gacha shipper would have gone the way of, the original Is Mimi-chan channel, because, let's face it, The Bad Girl's Little Boy was even worse for YouTube's terms of service than Taming the Bad Boy ever was. So, honestly, it would, in theory, it would not have taken a lot to report those videos and have the channel taken down completely, as was the case with Is Mimi-chan. That's not what happened, though. As it turns out, those videos actually have all been privated, it seems, or at least that video, I checked the link in the individual review, the video was set to private, so it still exists. It's not been removed. So I suspected everything was taken down. The channel has been renamed as well, to a thing like Alicia or something. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, all the videos are gone on there. The community post is still up, so it is still the same channel. And also that specific channel was linked and referred to as the original creator of My Tiny Human and The Bad Girl's Little Boy, both of which are being re-uploaded. But on the channel that has re-uploaded the videos themselves. And that's the channel that got into the Gacha Fest playlist. At the moment, it's still there, but I have informed Mops about it. So hopefully he'll, look at the situation, investigate whether or not it counts, because the rules of Gacha Fest are supposedly that the videos had to have come out this year. I think they also had to be voice acted, but I might be just remembering that wrong. But yeah, they had to have come out this year between January 1st and December 15th in order to qualify for something. So yeah, I don't think a re-upload counts in that manner. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But for right now, I guess it's on there. People can watch My Tiny Human again in general, I guess, if they are, were missing that series. And if you're missing The Bad Girl's Little Boy for whatever reason, please seek help. But that is also available. Yeah. So with that in mind, the other thing that was up on the playlist is actually, Secrets of the Plex. So we're getting to that on Monday. That's been queued in for returning. We've been waiting for some updates on, and that is Northpass Elemental University. Now, I didn't actually remember this one until I saw the outlines of the main character. That has been embedded into my mind. Because then I remembered, yes, I did review the original Northpass episode 1, so we don't have to go back this time. But yeah, I didn't remember anything about it. Even when I was mentioning different elemental-based series a while ago, when we were talking about things like Elementia, for example, it didn't even come up during those discussions because I just completely forgot about it. And I realized why that was, because I went back and rewatched it, and really not much happens in terms of the story of the first episode. One thing I did find is that actually the creator, Jacob or something, or Xni, as was the name of the time, puns on Kenny and Jacob. I guess they're both pseudonyms with an X in them, because the 90s, I suppose. Um, the creator actually posted a little bit of the process behind like the animation, for example, and actually I can appreciate the fact that there was just two default boys throwing spheres at each other in the first rough concept, and then it was and then that was used to make the animation. Then there was a camera correction where they actually did do the camera angles. So I appreciate seeing the process behind it and understanding it a bit more. And also, it actually proves a point that I made about Gacha a long time ago. I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked me about whether or not I do like storyboards for things like Mutant Girl, for example. And the answer is no, simply because the way that Gacha itself works, there is no point making storyboards for things that you can pre-program in and animate, unless you're using those as proof of concept in the way that Kixney, or whoever the name of the channel is now, was doing, and that was meant to be sent out to multiple people. So I suppose in that aspect, but even then, you're using actual just Gacha itself rather than the traditional rough sketches that storyboards are usually comprised of. So yeah, honestly, somewhat vindicated there. But as far as the story itself actually goes, animation and editing aside, those were the real standout moments from the last episode. All that happened last episode was that this main character here was just walking down the street casually. He has a conversation with his friend. Then he also continues. Then his friend seems to be locked in battle with somebody who was attacking him. And after that person subdues him, she says, she does the whole "come with me if you want to live" thing, almost verbatim, by the way. You can tell that the creator was trying desperately not to write that sentence. But then says, "Oh, you've got to trust me. I know that I've just beaten up your friend, who presumably know more than I do, but clearly you're in danger, and this person is the bad guy. Source, trust me, bro." That doesn't work originally because the protagonist was not an idiot. Then it was only really like after the friend, who kind of is an idiot, kind of like betrayed the idea of like having dark powers or something. And sort of like having a bit more of like a domineering side, I suppose, like saying you're just come with me, or like a little bit of like a like the villain speech, the one I keep saying at some point someone should subvert and just be like, "Ah, yes, I'm talking all villainous, but I'm actually a very nice person. Just look at my track record, you can totally trust me." And then it turns out you can actually trust them. Well, not in this situation. He kind of like played up that aspect, and so eventually he was like, "Well, I know that I know that I've just met you, and this is crazy, but here's a magic teleportation circle. Teleport me, baby." So here we are right now. And we just got to the world of the elements, which I presume is where we're going to get to Northpass University, and that is literally all that happened. So we had one dumb moment, kind of, masked underneath all of the interesting action sequences. So I think we're going to get into the meat and potatoes more so now in this episode compared to before. I forgot how long this is, but I guess we're about to find out. So without further ado, on with the review.
What?
You don't seem amused?
Yes. What reaction were you expecting?
I'm with him, actually. Yes, teleport me to a new dimension. Why would he be amused by that?
The good kind. The one who is astonished by these lands. The one who doesn't yell or shout. And, by the way, this was your decision. You agreed to this.
Well, I mean, he agreed to come with you. I don't think the teleportation was involved in that. There's two ways of looking at this scene. Because there's so little story that we've seen so far, I don't know what the world building is like in this. I don't know if teleportation and the existence of other dimensions is commonplace. He didn't seem too fazed by the existence of of these two different powers, the water powers and the, I don't know, dark elements or whatever. So that seemed like it was something that he's familiar with. Is the idea of this realm even plausible? It seems like he wasn't prepared to teleport to a different dimension, so maybe he knew they existed, but also wasn't expecting to be in one. Or alternatively, if he was expecting to be in one, then of course he'd be shocked. And if it's not commonplace that people travel between dimensions, does that mean that this character comes from a land where this is? something that was done? And if so, shouldn't she know that people don't frequently travel around? So if it's the first one, I kind of get it. If it's the second one, then yeah, clearly she's got water between the ears or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because of you! You kept pushing me! And what the hell was that back there? My best friend has magic?
Okay, well that answers my question. Magic is in fact not commonplace, and therefore probably also the dimensions are probably not common knowledge and are not frequently travel between each other, and she should have known that. Fantastic, thank you for confirming that for me.
You have magic? Are you God? Are you Percy Jackson's sibling?
Okay, alright. I appreciate that reference. Oh, alright.
What? I'm sorry. I can't follow.
How do you shoot water out of your hands? Are you a witch?
I kinda. More like an elemental user.
Cool. So you're a
Yeah, well, I guess
water. What kind of witch is my best friend?
He's not an elemental user. Well, okay. How do I explain this? Basically, he used to be one until he gave that all up to serve a much more darker force.
Okay. This is something that I appreciate. You know, obviously it is still it is still somewhat, you know, exposition, but it's natural exposition comparatively. You know, Northpass didn't have a moment where, you know, we have like, ah yes, in ancient times elemental users were all the rage, and then they got exiled to New Dimension, but it turns out that not all of them were good. Some of them serve a dark master. We didn't get any of that to begin with, and I do prefer that approach. It's just that the reason that I was complaining earlier is because there's so little that happened in the first episode to establish anything that we're going into the next episode more confused than we ideally should be. But I like the way that this is being introduced, at least now. You know, it's an episode late, but it's introduced, but it's through a conversation. You know, somebody who's like asking, you know, the audience surrogate is asking questions, and the person answering is giving them not the full like narration overview, basically, but just, you know, how do I explain this in the simplest of terms? Because I guess either time is of the essence, or I don't want to overwhelm you too much. Either one of those is a good character decision. So far, actually, this episode is on a better track than the last one, I'll say.
My best friend works for Darth Vader?
That's not what she said. She said a dark force. And even then, if you know who Darth Vader is, you know that you should know that he wasn't in command of, you know, any, like, of the dark side, or even the Empire or anything.
No, he works for Eldritch, the Dark Witch. His goal is to eliminate all elemental kinds, aka people like us. Their intentions are anything but genuine.
What do you mean by us?
You're an element.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You know, she did like points to herself in that case, so it could be like us as in like me and other elementals, or aside from that also could work.
Mental user, a waterborn.
What? I don't have.
I do appreciate the name Waterborn. I mean, honestly, it's no less on the nose than, you know, like actual, you know, Greek mythology moments. I believe there's actually a group of creatures called the G Genies in Greek mythology. It's like G Earth Genies born, so they literally are called the Earthborn. So, you know, it's a concept. It makes sense.
That disease?
Not waterborn. I mean water-born. You are born with the gift of water manipulation.
You have got to be joking me. This whole thing sounds like a street from Avatar.
What?
I mean, it sounds more like from Percy Jackson, because you presumed you were, you know, fully human and mortal and all of that, and then turns out that you're not. So it feels more like that. That being said, the actual action from last episode did feel more like Avatar. He is correct on that aspect, because I mean there was like a puddle from the ground. That's the one inconsistency where it seems like at one point she was able to make her own water, and at another point she had to use what was like on the ground specifically. I don't know which one is what they're going for, but either way, you know, again, At a certain point, waterbenders did learn to draw water from the air. So, but that
What are you talking about?
I'm saying this is all baloney. I'm probably back at home, sleeping in bed.
he has made 3 pop culture references so far, which does suggest, and she didn't get any of them, which does suggest he doesn't know anything about the world that he was in, which also suggests that she doesn't know that elements and magic are not super common. But then again, she did feel the need to explain all of this stuff and knows now that he was confused about it. So I guess she just caught on quickly, but it does make you think, why would she know about the other world existing and then travel to it without preparing for what was on the other side? Unless it was just an urgent mission of some kind. If so, then she definitely picked a great outfit to actually go there, unless the fashion in this world is identical in its development to our world, because she definitely blended right in.
Punch me.
Or maybe she actually is like the Terminator, aside from the kind of me if you want to live, and she actually did steal someone's clothes, in order to blend in. Maybe, I don't know.
Punch me so I can wake up from this dream.
Well, I mean, that's one way of doing it.
That real enough for you?
Yes. But how can this be? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if I have...
I mean, it's not possible. I can't be a wizard.
water powers, does my mom have them as well? Why did she tell me sooner?
I mean, you literally mentioned Percy Jackson before, and his mum doesn't have powers, but okay.
Yeah.
But she can see through the mist. Not the same thing.
Well, you see, 23 years ago, Elemental Valley was almost conquered by the Dark Witches. But in a twist of fate, the elements won.
I am wondering if Elemental Valley is the name of the dimension itself, or just, one of the valleys inside. That's one thing that I hear a lot of in some fantasy theories, where they name, like, a place after a geographical feature that is only, like, one part of it. I don't know.
After that experience, some went into hiding and living.
Yeah, see, look at the way that they're dressed right here. It definitely feels like Witch Academy in the best way, because one of my favorite aspects of Witch Academy is the wardrobe. Aside from the whole eyeless thing, they're all eyeless, so it's consistent at the very least. And a little bit of, like, actual shading on the characters. That, like, the shadow is actually used, like, blend in because they are in the night. Like, it actually makes them fuse with the background, especially because it's not a vector image. That is, like, a quite clever detail. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So this suggests that that at the very least, Water Girl here is it clearly did some research at the very least on the stylings of the modern world.
In normal life on the human realm, one of them being your mother.
On the human realm, on Earth, in one condition. That's my Witch Academy, not Witch Academy, but hey,
When the Dark Witches found out elements were living there, they began hunting.
I mean, I guess the question is how they found out, but maybe she doesn't know that aspect.
That's why I was sent to get you.
This is the part that I was, like, saying, this is where, like, the exposition where it gets, like, super substantial, but they've been conversing enough for her to know that he has no idea about anything. My question now is, of course, how did she find him particularly, and, what gave it away?
Oh, wait, is that why you bumped into me?
Yes.
Well, I guess that makes
It is the only way to identify a fellow waterborn.
sense.
Anyways, it seems we are on the outskirts of Northpass.
What do you mean, it seems you're on the outskirts? Didn't you not teleport here specifically? Or did you say, like, oh yes, let's go back to my dimension and not worry if we end up at the top of a volcano or something?
Come on, let's go.
I'm sorry, where?
Northpass, the Elemental's hometown. We gotta go before they catch us.
Wait, there's more of them?
Yeah.
I mean, did you get the impression that there was only one from the speech that she just gave? If so, why did you get that impression?
Styles isn't the only one.
I mean, I guess the bubble didn't burst after, he's continued to drown. Also, if you're wondering why he's wearing different clothing right now, this is one of those shows where the characters did get redesigned and I think re-rigged at some point in between episodes. The re-rigging I understand, but yeah, in this particular case, it's one of those where, like, what's the in-universe justification for redesigns on this level? It's one of my earliest complaints about gacha stuff that I haven't seen in literal years, I think. You know, like 6 years, I don't know. What have I been doing gacha review for? Yeah, about 6 years, yeah. Yes, after that conversation, only now does he dissolve it. Good thing he didn't drown, I suppose. How was she able to maintain that across dimensions? Was it self-sustaining? If so, it's not like Avatar, I can tell you that much.
Well, looks like someone's in a twist.
Shut up!
My gosh, Styles, you're so sensitive.
Whatever,
Oh my god, he looks nothing like he did.
Olivia. Wait, what are you doing here anyways? I thought you were also on a mission.
Yeah, well, it was easy. Can't say it was the same for you.
I didn't know Kenny was an element, okay? I can't believe.
That's why the channel's name was Snee before, because the character's main is does that mean it's an author self-insert? Is that why the channel name changed? It wasn't as obvious.
He lied to me.
Well, what do you expect? He confessed he's an element.
No, just if he was an element, why did he choose to be my friend?
Gonna be there.
Because elements have free will and can choose their own friends, who also, by the way, didn't reveal who they were. You know, a little bit of hypocrisy going on here. You chose to be his friend, despite the fact that you didn't tell him that you were, you know, an element catcher or whatever you're supposed to be.
He wants something from you.
What could he possibly want? He's an element. If anything, it's me who needs something.
You know something I appreciate? I like how, like, the hand, like you don't notice this at first, but, like, the layering changed in between keyframes, actually, I think, because beforehand, like, his hand went underneath the ascot tile, whatever he's got, and then now it's like over the top. So either the ascot tile like went down a layer inconspicuously, or the hand, you know, I guess like the hand rig that's moved up one. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm not a tweener, so I don't know this stuff.
What should I do?
Well, we can stay here and get caught while you moan. Or go back to headquarters, and there you can cry in front of Alfred and tell him that you're incompetent. I mean, seriously, how did you not find out he's an element?
He didn't have the aura for it. I mean, I'd be able to sense it, but he didn't.
I guess you just never bumped into him. That's the way to identify someone's aura, I guess. Wait a second, I've got to plug. There we go. Continuing.
Have any.
That's impossible. What? Do you like him?
Yes, because that's an explanation for not feeling someone's aura is that you like them. Clearly, that's how it works. I'm really hoping that's not how it works.
Are you protecting him?
No! The moment I literally find out he's one of them, I'd sell him out.
In all fairness, he did try to do that. He did, in fact, say, you know, Kenny was coming with him instead of Water Girl. So, yeah, that actually does track. Which, you know, further point, where was she at this point? If she was, like, you know, around the area, did she not hear, like, the scuffle or anything? Or, I guess, like, approach sooner? If anything, she could have rescued him if he was in that bubble for a long time.
Sure. You're gonna sell him out. I mean, it's not like you two went to the movies together. And if I remember correctly, it's been a year since you two were best friends.
Okay, so you recall all of that information about them, which means that you do in fact have intel on Kenny, and you also didn't know that he was an element. Everyone is a hypocrite. Thank goodness. What have we missed? Characters being idiots. That's what you've missed.
Just shut up and let's go.
Okay. I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, and I know that I've talked a lot about Wakfu recently, but the way that portal was created, and the way that he exited through it, that feels very much like how Yugo's powers work in Wakfu. I mean, the portal isn't blue, but aside from that, everything else kind of tracks. And to be honest, actually, like, using the idea of something similar to Wakfu in general, like the energy source Wakfu, not the show Wakfu, actually would make sense, because that's not really tied directly to, like, any sort of element, and it's, you know, a canonical cosmic power in a fantasy realm. So, yeah, it makes sense for it to be otherworldly, even to the other world. So, if that's deliberate, then nice reference. And nice detail to make the animation match the idea. Okay, don't know why the music cut out for that moment, but alright.
Is that Taylor and Ken? What are they doing at the outskirts of town? No.
Well, I guess if apparent teleportation is random in this world, so if anything, you stumbling across them is even more of a coincidence. If it isn't random, what was Taylor talking about earlier when she said, "Oh, I guess we're in the outskirts," as if she didn't already know that was the plan. I suppose that I'm guessing that she couldn't, like, tell them directly into Northpass, because that would be very dangerous if teleportation worked directly into, like, the main headquarters, because then, you know, these guys could show up. So I guess, but that also means that why was she confused earlier? And also, why is he confused? If they know, do they not know about Northpass's existence? It feels like that would be like an open secret, to be honest.
This is perfect. Okay, Olivia, here's the plan.
I'm not helping. This is your mission. I'm not losing my winning streak because you're incompetent.
I'm here to be useless and to insult you. I'm an endearing individual.
Fine. Guess I'll go.
My name's Taylor, by the way.
I'm glad I don't have to keep calling you Water Girl. Okay, that needed some sound effects. And probably better cut, actually. Another sound effect. What is happening? Oh, wait, no, I think it's my computer's out of sync. My bad. Yeah, see? One of those you could almost say that she got the water from the plants. The other one was definitely from the air. So why did she need the puddle in the first episode? This is the kind of thing where I can imagine, like, the two default boy characters, like, you know, distant from each other, and, like, using the storyboard feature before, and now it's been, like, corrected. Now I can see the process of it. It's like, yeah, very nice. Of course it would be done like that.
Styles, what are you doing?
What are you doing, actually? If anything, he might actually swing at you now.
You.
Yeah, see? Okay, this is why we need, like, a little bit like a foley of the character. You know, again, something that I that I definitely did, and KW could probably vouch in Secrets of the Plex. You know, something that I keep doing all the time is, you know, foley sounds whenever I get, like, thrashed around or something. You know, in this one we need something where he's like, like that, something along those lines, to show that, you know, to like, you know, emphasize his strain. Like, we can see it, but we also should be able to hear it too. That just, like, adds an extra layer on top of it. Yeah. Yeah, Secrets of the Plex mentioned. Well, I mean, new episode just dropped, and I know that you've seen it. I haven't yet, because I've been waiting for Bond to be able to join the review, and that was on that, and this is on Monday. But yeah, I know that by now you definitely have checked it out. Anyway, the animation is nice, but I hate this style of Gacha Life/Club. The one thing I can't get over is the red outlines, because they contrast so much with you know, the other much, like, finer outlines. If it was like a more subdued, less saturated red, I could get on board with it. But because of, like, how it outlines everything to do with them, and the other outlines don't match their intensity, they stand out too much for me. Aside from that, I can honestly get behind everything else in terms of, you know, the editing and visuals. You know, I've been vibing with that since the beginning. It's just unfortunate that, you know, again the story does not do itself any favors. You know, I will not say anything. No, I wasn't planning to spoil it or anything. I'm just, you know. if anything, I mean, the one thing that you can definitely vouch for is that I have done Foley in that show, and I believe I did some of it in the latest episode. That was all I was, I'm watching it, and I can't wait for you to watch it anyways. Why is this called 2.1? That I don't know. I'm guessing that this is gonna be like a episode 2 part 1 and then episode 2 part 2 potentially, and that's how they chose to put it together. Maybe that's my best guess. There's no actual there's no reasoning that I've seen, at least. I closed the tab that would have the description in it because my computer was running slowly, so I can't check that. But hey, maybe there's something in the description of the video. Just not to make yeah. In isolation, definitely odd. Maybe when a hypothetical 2.2 comes out, it'll make more sense or something. Although it is strange because episode 1 was like 7 minutes long, and that didn't feel like it was complete. If anything, this feels like episode 1.2 rather than 2.1. Okay, control 2 walkthrough abilities from the same hand at the same time. Okay. Even Yugo can't do that. Oh, you can actually see the surrounding, like... Okay, there's a swelling like around her neck. Which, if he could do that before, why didn't he? Like, if he could... Like, he had her suspended in a similar position last episode, why not just do that? And why not use the axe that he has? He could have sliced her in half right then and there instead of throwing her to the side. Like I said before, the characters are idiots. I guess the dark tentacle gives up after a certain point. It's like, I got you now, whatever. You escaped once, I can't be bothered.
Now, as for you, my dear sweet, but no.
Why this music? This is too relaxed and subdued. You don't want lo-fi beats when you're having your enemy approach you with a blunt axe or a sharp axe even. I don't know which one it is.
Eve, best friend.
No!
Yes, I really want you to trust me. So I'm going to talk to you like this and threaten you, old friend. Please do accompany me. I will not sell you out, honest. My source? Trust me, bro.
Stand back! You're evil!
Evil?
Okay, I'm guessing that this is meant to be like a setup for him to actually use water powers for once in his life, and then have proof that provide him with proof that he's meant to be here, and also provide Styles the proof that Kenny is what he's looking for. Maybe.
Me? I'm your best friend, remember?
It's kind of like how in Stronger Than You Think we actually have the we actually have the moment where all the superheroes are down except for the main character who has to do something in that moment to bring them all back. I do appreciate when it happens. It's a little bit of an obvious payoff right here, but it's an appreciated one at least. Yeah. Just joking with the voice, but it's working. What do you mean it's working? Would you trust someone who sounds like this? The whole point is to show that he's absolutely not delivering his lines the way that he should if he wants to gain someone's trust. Are you saying you would trust somebody who sounds like this? If that's the case, would you care to shake a poor sinner's hand?
You'd really choose her over me. You're... What?
Bet you didn't see that.
Oh, well, okay, I guess he won't do his thing then. I mean, it was right there, but
Coming.
sure.
What?
You're not the first witch who tried to strangle me with magic.
I like how her hair has actually come undone now. Is the unfortunate thing is that because of how the front hair and back hair works, you only have the water streak in one part compared to the ponytail was before, because you can't have the full water hair. I don't think, at least not in regular Gacha. So I suppose there's a case of I guess I've of the creator shooting themselves in the foot with that design setup. And if that's the case, I do at least appreciate that there wasn't such a radical change right off the bat. Although, that being said, where did the clothes come from?
Looks like those 2 years of drama class just keep paying off, don't you think?
Why, you little...
They're not, well, I mean, they've said before, actually the main character, Kenny, asked if Taylor was a witch before. She said she's more of an elemental user, so I guess they don't count as witches.
Once I really kill you, I'll dance on your grave!
Yeah, well,
Yeah, can you move on away from the microphone while you say all that stuff, please?
I'd really love to see you try.
Okay, see, this is what I mean. You know, somebody was like, oh yes, I'd love to see you try. If we hadn't seen this character before with this villainous voice, we would absolutely think that she might be the bad guy. Or at the very least a very pompous deuteragonist, which I believe she's supposed to be now. But you know, in isolation, if we had met her in this manner, we would not trust her. And also we met Styles in another manner, so again, they're kind of like both equal at this point. As far as we're all concerned, as far as Kenny's concerned, she could have lied about everything. That's why the moment of him actually being able to produce water would have been so important here, to verify for himself not only that he was blonde there, but also that Taylor was telling him the truth. Because otherwise, it's just it is quite literally a case of he said, she said.
Maybe in the next, what, like 2 to 3? Never!
Oh, wait, I just realized she just became Technoblade. If you wish to defeat me, train for another 500 years.
Tell Aldrich my dad says hi!
Let me guess, her dad's like the principal or something.
Alright, Ken, let's go!
Whoa, wait. Why are we running? You just
Why are we running? Why are we running?
defeated him.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure he'll be back with an army.
Yeah, that's a good point. You've literally saw her defeat him in the last episode. I know he looked extremely different, but still. And he came back from that, you know, from drowning in a sphere of water. Do you really think he can't come back from being flung? You just saw Taylor come back from being flung in a very similar manner. Why would you expect him not to do the exact same thing in the exact same way? Like I said before, the characters are idiots.
But don't worry, we're close to Northpass's defense systems.
Defense systems, that's why I couldn't teleport. See, I thought so. That's it. Just like the first episode, it ends very abruptly. I was half expecting to see, like, at least like the edge of Northpass or something as they got there. But then again, maybe that's for episode 2.2 is all about. I guess. So yeah, I don't know. This was this was episode 2.1. It does achieve what it set out to do. I'll say that much. You know, it naturally exposits what we need to know about the world and what seems to be commonplace and what isn't. You know, we're still part of the course in terms of every character, you know, not thinking their actions through in the slightest. Taylor, of course, you know, her example being dressing for the part for the modern world, but not for the human realm, whatever, and not preparing like any sort of knowledge about it or like how they view elemental users or don't view them in this case. Then we have, of course, Kenny, you know, thinking like, well, why are we leaving? Because someone's been defeated, or I don't know. I guess, please, person who's way too powerful and as an axe, snap out of this. I mean, if he's trying to protect Ted in that situation, he definitely should have thought, oh, wait a minute, axe, yeah, definitely. Speaking of that, Stars doesn't even use his axe. I can see why Olivia calls him pathetic to some degree, because, you know, he actually he's had Taylor like multiple times, and he could have very easily finished her off, but decided not to for some reason. And you know, definitely like gave away the game very early with the villain voice that apparently KW seemed to think would incite people to be trustworthy or something, but I'm not convinced still. I don't know if anyone else is. If you were, leave a comment about it, please. I'm interested to know. Yeah, so he definitely did not play his cards right at all. Olivia, of course, would just entirely use us here as well, but maybe maybe that's a case of like, oh yes, you've got to prove yourself. This is beneath me. maybe that's to build up the idea that Olivia is actually like a bigger threat. Maybe we're kind of like going in a similar style to it's been a long time since I've seen One Piece, but I know that a dynamic that happens a lot of the time in One Piece is that you introduce like one character, and then or a duo together actually, and one of them ends up being like way more powerful than the other. I think that's like one of the things that's borrowed from Dragon Ball actually, because they do the same thing in Dragon Ball, and it turns out like at first when like for example when the two Saiyans show up during the Saiyan invasion arc of Dragon Ball Z. Nappa's the one who does like all of the explosions and all that crazy stuff, and actually attacks all of the people. But the real threat is Vegeta, who just stands by and does nothing for some time before the real challenge comes to him. So maybe they was trying to do that. So I reserve judgment on her for right now because they could be building up to something a little bit extra. I always meant you liked the voice. Well, okay, liking the voice is different to trusting the person that the mouth it's coming from. That's all. That was the whole different point that I was trying to make here. And you said it was working, so I thought you meant like it was working in the sense of that you would you would incite trust within you. Like you're the person who would trust Car from the Jungle Book without being hypnotized. Trust in me. Trust in me. Anyway, right. What was I saying? Yeah. I love the landscapes. I say I was actually taken aback by the okay. Yeah. I was taken aback by like the sets and stuff the way that Kenny wasn't, because I can look from outside and be like, oh yeah, this actually is a beautiful landscape at the very least. That seems to hide a deep dark tumultuous present from within itself, which is fantastic in that sense. Again, I'm definitely interested in like what if Elemental Valley is the whole world or if it's just the actual valley, because Northpass does imply a pass into this place from the north, because that's how those things would be like named. So that's entirely possible as well. Yeah, I don't know. Story-wise, actually, this one definitely, despite my complaints about the characters and everything that they did, I'm vibing more with the story than I was originally. Partly because there is something there now to grasp onto, and there wasn't really last episode. But yeah, this one has a little bit more potential in terms of what it's actually trying to do. The other element stories we've seen don't introduce a new dimension necessarily, much less Wakfu wielding antagonists for them to actually contend with in a different level and show that their powers actually do come from a different source. The last time I saw that kind of thing was ironically enough in Witch, because Elion actually has in one of the issues that I have, which has like extra information and such, it says Elion possesses negative magical powers that aren't related to nature, which I feel like they kind of like backtracked when they eventually revealed what was actually going on, but that's beside the point. Serialized magazine publications for teens are serialized. That's all I can say. So yeah. There's an Overwatch episode with no voice acting. It's watchable through one of the creators' creative tabs. And in that, there was extra scenes after the fight. Oh, you mean like after like this one actually? Okay. Could you link that to me, please? Because I want to see if they're like extra scenes, we can watch the extra scenes for sure after this. I wonder if they actually got to Northpass itself or not. Unless you mean like there's like special features or like behind the scenes or like random skits, in which case I don't really need to see those. But I don't know. I'm wondering why those were cut out if that was the case, or if they were just cut out for time. Or maybe we're going to see them in episode 2.2. That could also happen. I don't know. Or it could have been a proof of concept. Not really sure. And if Kirby says, I don't think it's interesting like the animations, like the outlines, some of the voice lines are too quiet or too loud. Yeah. That's one thing that, it's very clear that Olivia's microphone is not as good, or that Olivia's VA's microphone is not as good as the others. And that does happen, a lot of the time, especially with in Gacha. Although so again, speaking from experience of having to coordinate people with different mic qualities. If you learn enough audio techniques, you can actually at least try to like balance out at the very least the leveling of of the actual audio itself, so it's all so it's all consistent to itself. I could definitely say that at the very least the volume mixing of the music to the voice acting was on point. I don't think any lines were drowned out by loud music, or music was drowned out by lines, or anything of that nature. If anything, I noticed the music cutting out more than I did when it was actually there, with the exception of the lo-fi beats coming in, after the main fight, which I really don't, I really don't think that was the right way to go. Yeah. After the fight, it does not sound right. After the fight, does not sound right. I practice with lo-fi's all into the night. It's out of sight. I don't know. This is why I don't freestyle rap. Okay, so this is apparently... Oh, it actually... Okay, so this is actually just called Episode 2, the one that Josh just sent me right now. Which makes me think that maybe like Episode 2 was actually just split up, and Episode 2.2 is going to be these extra scenes at some point. If they are, then once that does release, we'll just watch we'll just judge the voice acting, because I assume that the editing will be the same if I'm thinking it's correct. But we'll see. 42% converted. We're about to find out. I guess it's also, the question becomes, whether or not like the cut at this point was the best place to end it. Because these episodes do seem to end on cliffhangers. They are very abrupt cliffhangers, but they are cliffhangers nonetheless. The idea of teleporting to like a new location, the idea of being hinted at a big safe haven location. That seems to be the pattern, at least right now, with these episodes. And maybe that's deliberate, maybe that isn't. I can't say for sure. Let's find out right now, because it's all converted. So assuming the file doesn't corrupt, let's go ahead and see what we're missing out on. Northpass. Oh, geez. Okay. That was loud. Yeah, so this is the same, of course. Okay, so we have a few different... Wait a second, what? Okay, here we go. Wait. Oh, this is with, like, the old models before they changed them, that's why. Okay. Wait a second, does that mean that Styles looks like he used to? Let's see. Oh, yep, no, that's definitely him. That's definitely him. Wait, hold on, but this time he's appealing to him. Wait, Josh, are you sure this is... Is this like... Was the episode rewritten as well as reanimated? Because I don't remember this from right now. Or not specifically, anyway. I think, wait a second, let's check this part. Oh wait, no, this does, the same animation. That doesn't, though. Okay, no, this is absolutely different. Okay, this is... So some of these things, I guess, were probably, repurposed. But I do not remember, like, her backing away like this, or, like, him, like, slowly leering in like this. Not to mention, he actually, like I said before, he actually uses the axe. So yeah, no, this is just straight up a different episode that we're watching right now. I mean, I did so we have more time, so I guess we can go through this one from the beginning, really. All right, let's do a remake versus original. And, you know, compare and contrast. Here we go. Where am I? There's a little bit more of him taking in his surroundings. I can appreciate that. Only thing that's missing now, I think, would be like the classic establishing shots that you get in a lot of anime when you get to this point. You know, statistically speaking, someone will have seen at least one isekai here, so you'll definitely know the classic thing of like, ah, yes, new world with a few establishing shots of like, you know, the hustle and bustle of, you know, life and everything, with the hustle and bustle of the everyday. Anyway, or just, you know, the clouds themselves, or like the bright open area, or whatever it may be. Anyway. Welcome to the Ant Farm! I mean, to the Valley of Elements! What? Okay, so there actually is where you know, like in the voice acted version, like Taylor says, "Oh, I thought it'd be like more awestruck or something," and you know, in this one he actually seems to be. Like, this is the reaction that voice-acted Taylor thought that Kenny was going to have. And I actually prefer the other version, where he actually is shocked, because he's appropriately shocked, and Taylor should recognize that. So I can see why that was changed, at least. Okay, here I appreciate the music cutting out, because he's just like, huh? 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 What do you think? What? Whoa, you agreed to this? I mean, I don't think he was... he wasn't protesting this time. The joining here. He was just saying, you know, what? You know, like, where is he? This isn't... How did we manage to go like that? Wow, the original was worse in terms of Taylor's responses. Who would have thought? To make a good decision in that situation. That is true. You did say, come with me if you want to live. I feel like most people want to live, so of course he made that decision. You know, if you have a metaphorical gun pointed to your head, you can't be blamed for the choice that you make under that pressure. Besides what my parents say. Wait. What would my parents say? I'll get in so much trouble. This is interesting, actually. If this is the since we're going with sorry, what was I gonna say? Even though this isn't voice acted, I'm actually really vibing with the pacing of like the speeches there. I've only ever made 2 non-voice acted gacha videos before. But the ones that I did make, I actually made the dialogue really slow on purpose because I know people are slow readers. And I knew that the narrator would cut off at a certain point. Similarly to, well, actually not similarly to why I did it in Gacha Story. No, that was because I wanted to have the voice actors have time and I could cut it down later. Never mind. Yeah, in this case, yeah, it actually it feels like this would be the kind of thing that if this had been the original version. Don't say this is the original version. I mean, if this has been the final version, then the voice actor would have had to have recorded over it the same way that, you know, dub voice actors do, where they have to match either the lip flaps or at least the timing of everything that is being said. Which is an interesting approach to take with this kind of thing. You have to send me back. I can't. You see, you're on stage 3 of the hero's journey now, refusal of the call, so I can't, you know, I can't disrupt the flow. You gotta cross the threshold. Oh wait, no, refusal of the call, then cross the threshold. He's crossed the threshold now. Yeah, he's past the point of no return. Anyway, what do you mean? You brought us here. I can't because he's right. You're my mission. My mission is to keep you away from, keep you away people like him. I guess from people like him, really, but yeah. I like when this version, he actually does look like he's drowned in there. Which, it's the eyes. It's definitely the eyes. Or lack thereof. Okay, there we go. I guess, yep, he's out, and much like in the other version, he breaks out way later, and the bubble was sustained when Taylor was not there. Still don't get that. How can I have lost her twice? Twice, eh? Okay, we're getting some details. We did get a sense that these two have quarreled in the past, aside from that first fight that they had, and the second one that was just read before. So yeah, maybe that's where that's where Taylor's more teasing side comes from. I'm not sure. Get good stuff. Wow. Okay. Oh, he's starting another tantrum. Can't say I'm surprised. Okay, we've got more of a... You look more goth than you did before, but fair enough. Okay. Also, how long have you been standing there? Not... No! You may want to take the special effects down a notch. Bit of a fourth wall break there, but okay. You don't want to get caught now, do you? Get lost! Okay, that's one difference I'm seeing here, is that Styles definitely does not have a handle on his temper as much as voice-acted Styles does. And again, I prefer the other version where he actually is a bit more like reserved and resigned, but also is able to clap back, you know, just through mild sassing. Reminds me of Orchid, actually, you know, interacting with Salvador. Or actually, no, more like with Roya recently. Anyway. Oh, but you don't want me to congratulate you for loosing to the same girl twice? Once I loose to someone, I'll let you know. Nope. Okay, that was a point blank. He was not trying. No, just I want an apology. Why can't you just stop? Okay, now he's handling a bit more. No fun. Is that? Yep. I cloned a necklace. Oh, I thought it just disappeared. It's like, I have cloned this. Where'd it go? And with its power... I'll be able to track them. Okay, so actually, this is something that, on one level, I prefer from the voice-acted version, because, yes, this is something different. In the voice-acted one, he just kind of like teleports, you know, through like that first like walkthrough portal you saw him enter through, like when you first joined KW, and just goes, whoa, what is that? Is that Taylor and Kenny? What a coinkydink. Although but I guess he wouldn't know exactly where they're going to teleport, you know, into those like outskirts and such, because, you know, the outskirts are vast when it comes to this kind of thing, especially if they're open fields. So, yeah, it would be difficult to pinpoint their location. So I can definitely appreciate trying to you know, clone an item belonging to the person that it just, you know, teleported you somewhere. That makes perfect sense. The one thing I'm reserved on, actually, is the fact that it's like a power, I suppose, that it comes from the necklace, rather than just like its essence. Although I guess for that to be the case, it would have to be like the original, maybe. I don't know. I'm just thinking like similar rules to, you know, like a dog tracking a scent, kind of. Except in this case, it's just dark magic. Return to the past now. Fine, you won't help me to get back, then I'll do it myself. Yeah, good luck with that. You're in a different dimension. Wait. No, listen to me. To you? You nearly killed my friend. He's not your friend. He's an anti-element. It's what they do. They collect people and torture them. Yeah, unlike what you did to him, where you literally waterboarded him. Okay, right, sure. Wait, is that supposed to trust you? Well, yes, because they did the same thing to me. Yeah, Source, trust me, bro. He just met you. You can say that trauma's happened to you in the past, but unless you can verify that, people aren't going to believe you if they necessarily if they just met you or think that your word is worth any more than anyone else's. Like, what? They are anything but genuine. Yeah, they're actually anything but genuine was the phrasing in the voice active one. Yeah. Exactly. Source, trust me, bro. I'm starting to see why they rephrased and rewrote a lot of this for episode 2.1. So far, the only thing that I regret not carrying over from here is the necklace tracking. That was a good idea. Although maybe because of like how the designs and like the models were supposed to change, maybe they didn't want to carry that over. But nah. So was Style befriending me just a gimmick? It can't be true. Right. Oh, another thing I like about this? Look at their shadows. Their shadows are actually shaped according to... Like I said before, that's not the most difficult thing to do in editing if you know the procedure for it. Although I definitely feel like the shadows have definitely been shapen a bit more, so they're not actually just perfect silhouettes of the characters. Like there's a bit more processing involved in these particular shadows. But still. Nice. My name's Taylor, by the way. Also, why are we walking so slowly? We're in slow motion there. I know it's hard, but I need you to trust me. I like how he was actually in the front. I just realized that. Why is he leading the way exactly? Or is the idea that he was like walking away still from her, and you know and because he doesn't know where he's going, but she hasn't told him anything. Maybe that's why. Oh, okay. We're at this point now. So in this version we don't get the exposition of like what's been going on with elements and such. All we get was the moan of about anti-elements, and you know what their whole deal is from her perspective. Okay, hear me out. I know that I said before that I liked the natural exposition and the way they got to that conversation, and I know that I pointed out that episode 1 was very confusing in the way that it set up its plot, because they don't provide all that detail. However, I might like this approach more. I might like the way that they're still keeping it a bit more of a mystery in this one. Like, we have a little bit of more information. We know that there's such a thing as anti-elements now. And we've seen Taylor control water before, so we understand that, you know, a concept akin to an element user is a thing. So we want to know is that stuff. And for now, that's kind of all that we need. We have one seemingly biased source where, you know, somebody who claims to have suffered under the hands of the anti-elements. And we have another person who, you know, presumably a friend, but was also didn't mention he was an anti-element. And, you know, might be about to give himself away, you know, with his amazing delivery of his, you know, of his best friend's speech. And I think that's really all we need at this point. Because going from like the perspective of Kenny specifically, like I can picture this in a book, for example, where, you know, he's trying to piece everything together the same way that we, the readers, would be. And I'm getting the vibe that, yeah, we would be on board with trying to like figure out all this stuff as we go, even without like having, you know, a concrete source that would just be like, you know, telling you everything at the same time. You get to like draw your own conclusions until something a bit more comes out of this. Like, for example, the idea of him actually using powers the same way that Taylor, said he could, thus proving her right. But, I'm not going to dwell on that one too much. Anyway, did you miss me? Yeah, this is absolutely, I prefer the music in the other one. Something... Clearly, the behind-the-scenes point that needs the most work is the musical choices. Okay, now I guess you hear more of the sound effects, but okay. Oh, and the action is quicker as well. I still don't like the fact that he didn't just, use the axe again on her when he had levitated there, but I like the fact that it's like, up, boom, that's it. You don't want to dwell on that. You don't want to be like, ah, yes, I'm levitating you again. I had you in this position before. Let me tell you how we got in this situation, hero/deuteragonist. When I was but a young farm boy, they don't none of that. It's just like, boom, boom, done, action, quick, fantastic. Yeah, what are you doing? Boom, again, done, nice and simple. There's this, yep. Yeah, you can even see like his mouth move, like he went like a like that. That's what I was saying before about the Foley being like like that. You can hear it more when it's not there, ironically. And yeah, this is the part where I said he doesn't back out. He doesn't use the axe the way. In this case, we've already gone over that. Why did you stop? Because I need you alive for leverage. I guess. Why? Just grab Kenny and go. He was your mission, supposedly. Who do you need leverage for, exactly? Unless someone's going to hunt him down if he takes Kenny and he needs somebody to get him to back away. Maybe if her dad is the principal or something of this university, like you can't make that thing. I don't know. I need to think of something. Yeah, that was like, forget about it. His portal. I think I have an idea. Yeah, this is the anime moment in real time of being like, wait a second, what if I did this thing, and then this thing happened? Ah, yes, everything is going according to Keikaku. Like, oh, come on. Why would you, like, lower your axe? That's just asking to get water trapped, I suppose. Once I break free of this, I'm gonna... Oh no, the portal that I created that I can presumably escape from. What a terrible fate that you have subjected me to. Unless he's worried about, like, the tentacle monster on the other side and he can't control it or something. Maybe that thing's just hungry, doesn't care. It's possible. What do eldritch tentacle monsters eat? Souls, I guess. If I use my powers against this demon guy, I'll be able to defeat him. And then I will take a potato chip and eat it! I'm actually watching Death Note now. I'm 4 episodes deep. I haven't got to that scene yet, but yeah. I'm finally catching up with the last 15 years of pop culture references that I haven't that I didn't know the source of. Well, I wasn't familiar with the source, I mean. Anyway, Ken, please help me. Why? Why should I help you? Because I'm your best friend, gosh darn it. You see, it doesn't work. Yeah, anything but genuine. Again, source, trust me, bro. What are you doing? I mean, one of two things. He could be trying to pull you away from the water, or he could be pulling you towards the portal. If he's trying to pull you towards the portal, this doesn't... I don't think that works. because because like he would be, if he's pulling him backwards, then he would have to pull himself there. Unless it's gonna like unless it's gonna like Mario 64 him and just like swing him around or something. So long, styles. What does it look like? Oh, hey, no. You're in so much trouble for possibly helping me or not, I don't know. Hey, Styles, you're in trouble too. Oh, okay. Good thing that he wasn't standing directly in front of the portal the whole time, which is what I thought was happening, considering that the tentacle monster was pulling him in a straight line. You know, the disadvantage of 2D playing, I suppose, I don't know. Nope. His hand just reversed itself. I'm very sorry about... None of this would have happened... None of this would have happened hadn't shown up. I'm guessing it means if you hadn't shown up, but I don't know. I'm missing 2 words here. This is Tamsinese now. It wouldn't matter if I didn't show up. The moment he finds you out, you're a goner. Ironically enough, actually, Kenny might have a point. Because we established in the voice-acted version that Styles just did not know that Kenny was an element until, until, you know, this, like, reveal, or until Taylor revealed it, basically. So actually, Taylor might have inadvertently done more damage than she just hadn't shown up at all. Because, you know, Styles might have just never known. He might have just, like, gone to the movies with his best bro or something, and that'd have been that. And Olivia would have just, you know, observed and shipped them from distance or something. I don't know. That was it. There's your way back. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And this is another good thing here. This is another classic hero's journey moment. You know, where I mentioned before, refusal of the call is part of like the steps of this. You know, you have, you know, the status quo, you have the call to action, the refusal of the call, the crossing the threshold. I thought the crossing the threshold would have been the accepting from last time, but maybe it's now. Maybe it's the idea that, you know, he has the chance to go back at this point, but doesn't. It's for reference, it's kind of like, you know, in episode 1 of the Owl House, where you know, where Ida actually, you know, calls the, you know, the portal door and is like, okay, well, there's your door back to the human world. You helped me get King's crown back, and that's it. You know, you've fulfilled the deal. And then it's that's the moment where like Luce has to decide to not end her own TV show in the first episode. But you know, actually, but there's like, hey, I want to learn to be a witch. You know, that this is way better than going to, you know, stupid you know, camp think inside the box, or, you know, reality check, or whatever it was called. I don't know what the camp was called. I forgot. You know, let's do that. I want to stay on the Boiling Isles for a bit. And you know, makes that choice for herself. It's always better, I think, when characters make choices for themselves rather than just being like dragged around a lot. So again, that's like point number 3 that I actually prefer in this version. And yeah, now that we're like done with like the fight scene, these are the extra scenes. This may well be what happens next episode in the voice acted version. I'm hoping that they keep this if that's the case. Because we are about halfway through this video, which does suggest to me that yes, it was cut into 2 parts, specifically. So, get ready for spoilers for episode 2.2, I suppose. Let's continue. I'm sorry, I lost my temper. I mean, all of this is new to me. And I just found out my friend isn't really my friend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too, I shouldn't have yelled at you. I mean, you are confused as to what's happening. Now what? Now, you follow me. She steps on his toes. Where to? Northpass, the Element's hometown. And again, this is the first time we hear about Northpass, unlike in the last episode, in the voice-acted version, where it's like covered in that exposition point. And yeah, I feel like this actually works way better. You know, she's again much better in this version, at least. You know, not only in exposition, sequentially to keep the audience guessing, but also just not overwhelming the protagonist with all this stuff all at once. This should have been the way that it was handled. This is where we get the establishing shots thing I was saying before, you know, the hustle and bustle and like your typical isekai series. Here's where it happens, I suppose. Alright then. I guess they don't get animated, sure, fair enough. Fire use is unworthy. I'm glad you're in a better mood. It's like a dream, an RPG game. Yep, it is, like I said before, classic isekai. And I see in the background as well. That's how like the local crime goes. There's just a magical eye thief that's, you know, keeps striking around the town. Yeah. In the other version, there's that moment where during the narration that the Taylor gives, where you know where I point out, like, I like the fact that at the very least everyone, like, no one had eyes in that moment, and no one had like any eye shading or anything that was distracting. But also they had the shading that was that was actually blue, that reflected like the nights that they were subjected to at that point, to make them blend into the background a bit more. And let's face it, Elements need all the blending in they can actually do, because anyone who has a speaking role has red outlines, unlike everyone else. I'm guessing maybe that was done as an attempt for the animation's sake. Like, it's easy to track where everything is if like you have like these bright red outlines when you're moving the characters, but that might not be the case because it only applies to the character's skin, so not their clothes, which would be also the thing that they have to move constantly. So that doesn't work, so never mind. For a medieval themed town, you guys sure do not blend in with modern clothes. I mean, okay, so this is one thing I say I'll do prefer in the voice acted version. He makes pop culture references in that one, and she doesn't get them, which fair enough. She's from a different world, she wouldn't know that. You know, she wouldn't know who Percy Jackson or Darth Vader is, or anyone, or what Avatar is. Makes sense. But by that same logic, she also wouldn't know what the medieval period actually is in history. So that term should mean nothing to her, actually. Well, wearing modern clothes helps us blend in your world when we're on missions. Okay, so you're saying that it's a frequent thing to blend in this world when they're on missions. If this carries over into episode 2.2, I will have to point out that Taylor knowing nothing about the modern world makes even less sense, because if it's a frequent thing that they blend into, they would have brought back their observations, they would have like understood how you know, there's a need to blend in the first place, implying that their existence is a secret. So yeah, if this comes back next episode, I'm gonna have to point that out. In this version, she hasn't really done anything, but maybe suggest that she has no clue how the human realm works. So that's not an issue with this one, but it is with the other one. As a result of your world's culture mixing with ours. We've got your technology, your language, Taylor Swift. That explains her name, I suppose. Taylor Swift. Yeah, she's pretty big here. Okay, that's this cute. So I guess in this version, she gets pop culture stuff because they have their own pop culture and they have absorbed something. So if this version of the character mentioned Percy Jackson, she might actually know who he's talking about. And also just really enjoy the way they're able to like just casually converse at this point and, you know, just have like a moment to themselves where they actually feel like they're, you know, on the same level and not just an emergency situation. It's great to have that downtime where we actually like endear ourselves to the characters. You know, it can't be all doom and gloom in these kind of series because then we just don't care. And I like that we have a little bit of a balance now going on. Anyways, wow. Come on, I'll show you inside. You just trip. Ah, this could be the dad we know so much about. Come in. Hey, Dad. Called it. Your Majesty? What? That isn't royalty, it's the mayor. Sorry about that. Anyways, I've successfully completed my mission. So, he wasn't the principal of the university, but he is an authority figure of some kind, so I guess this makes sense. Yeah, alright then. It also explains why she had a bit of a Chloe Bourgeois moment in the voice acted version. But anyway. Yeah, like I said before, we got to like halfway through in the other in this version, and that was where the last episode left off, which makes me think that 2.1, 2.2 were originally just the voice acted version of this episode, or like the rewritten version, but yet they were split for whatever reason. So that's why I think what we're watching right now is going to be spoilers for episode 2.2 when it comes out. Taylor, can you tell me what you can see in the sky? It's a bird, or is that a plane? No. The clouds? Correct. But do you know what you don't see in the sky? A boy flying mid-air after being blasted with water. Our scouts found a boy in mid-air and tracked the site was in your vicinity of the mission. Were you not expecting her to encounter resistance during her mission? Okay. But in my defense, I was protecting me and Kenneth. He has not been called Kenneth once in this video. I don't mean to ask, how do you know my name? My full legal name, in fact. Not now. Sorry. See, that's what I'm saying. Need to know basis. You know, there's time for this stuff that you can just organically work in. You know, the whole bit about his mother and such, but we haven't covered in this episode. As I was saying, I was only trying to protect ourselves from an anti-element. And for what it's worth, I did win that fight. Yeah, she won twice. More, 3 times now, because he said before he was beaten twice before that second fight happened, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Never mind, carry on. Well, you did finish the mission. I'm proud of you. So what was the whole issue with her, like, fighting at all? Was she... this dimension is the one where the anti-elements are common knowledge, right? Because they're not. This is not where they're blending in. So what's the problem? If anything, the worst part that she did was actually leave him suspended in a bubble of water that anyone could just stumble across and find in the human realm. In this realm, why does it matter? Is she supposed to like not use her powers, you know, for the sake of being discovered by the anti-elements? But she was already in a fight with an anti-element. Did the father just not think, oh yeah, there's my daughter, you know, just blasting random boys again, as she is known to do? You know, clearly there's no other reason, you know, on this dangerous mission she would have to defend herself. Ugh. Thanks, Dad. As for you, you'll be informing your parents that you arrived here safely. So, this mission to retrieve him secretly, you're gonna send correspondence to... Okay, hope he doesn't get intercepted. You do you. Alright. And as for your training, you'll be enrolled to Northpass University. Ah, here it is. Main character gets enrolled in a school without their knowledge or consent. Yeah, okay. Wait, I get to go to school here? Okay, at least he's excited. Again, kind of like Luz No said, actually. Yes, Taylor here will take you to your dorm. That's right, you will be enrolled in the future, but you do have a dorm right now, so yeah, good luck figuring out how that one works. No way. Oh, no way. Come on, I'll take you to your dorm. That's one thing about the show, is like the walking speed is always super slow. Oh my gosh, this school is huge! And there was an establishing shot. I'm glad you like it. Now come on, I'll take you to your dorm. That's what you already were doing, but yeah, okay. Good to establish that again. Okay, question. That's the Grand Theft Auto death sound, right? And he's playing that on the Switch. Question for people in the comments. Can you play GTA on a Switch? I don't actually know. I doubt it, but I want to check. Anyways. No! Wait, this guy looks more like more like Styles than Styles did in the last one. Must be back for a mission. Come in. Hey, Connor. Hey, Taylor. Take it. What is this background music? I don't know. So I got distracted momentarily. Anyway, I take it that your mission was successful? You bet it was, not it did. So, are you gonna introduce me to your new friend? Your new... I don't know why I just did that. I wish to say hello to your little friend. Anyways, Kenneth, this is my idiot best friend, Connor. Double check you can't play GTA 5 on the Switch, and there's a collection you can get on this. Are you in the Switch with the first 3 GTA games? I don't know when that like sound effect was introduced, if it was GTA 5 specifically or not, so can't confirm that one. Anyway, here's your dorm, buddy. Okay. Let's see, what else is there to announce? Oh. Okay, there's a bathroom through that door over there. You can clean up after the mission. Wait, after the mission? The mission's still going on. This was your mission. It wasn't his. What are you talking about? Oh, okay. I like how he woke up today, like, decided to go to the movies with his best friend, and he's just like, oh, I guess I'm now enrolled in a separate school. This part here is where he gets, like, the protagonist gets, you know, a bit more overwhelmed. Fortunately, he was on board with the whole school thing. But otherwise, yeah, this would be a lot in the moment, you know, from one sequence to another. Okay, listen. I need you to be sensitive towards him. He went through a lot going here. Can I trust you? You can always trust me. I do like the idea that, you know, there's like a sense of, you know, everyone's like has to be on, has to make sure they can trust each other in this. Like, that's a consistent theme. Okay. Thanks, Connor. I big time. Bye! Ah, my wrist! And that's it. It just ends like that. Okay. Alright, yeah. Overall, there were quite a number of things I think the voice-acted version improved upon, story-wise. But also a great deal more I think that this one got right that one didn't. Yeah, I'm changing my mind on that whole exposition thing, because I feel like with the full episode context, it actually works better to just, like, slowly reveal all this stuff. Like, even in this one, we don't yet know about Kenny's mother. I feel like the one thing I probably would have also introduced at this point, maybe like during the conversation in the village, would have been for Taylor to mention that Kenny is also a waterborn. I feel like that would have made more sense. To point to just like say like that's what you're doing here basically. Because otherwise he's probably confused as to why he's receiving training or why he's even hunted. That's the one aspect of this that I think they should have like carried over, and I'm glad they introduced in the voice acted one. But yeah, everything else, like even like the backstory of the world and everything, we don't need all of that just yet. The fact that the fact that it's coming is fantastic. But yeah, I mean that's one of the things that I said about the first episode. The fact that even though we don't get much story at all, I'm glad that we don't have a narrator exposition moment for like this is how the world was, and they said from the beginning elements were here and blah 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 blah. No, none of that stuff. None of that stuff because yeah, the audience so far just gets it. And we get most of what we need. Again, aside from the whole Kenny being a waterborne thing, we get most of what's important. We get even in this one, it's suggested that he is an element, and that's why he's being hunted by the anti-elements. So he must have some sort of power. But I'm not sure if Kenny himself has put that together yet, or if he's just very, very casual about how he's done so. So yeah. There's one more or not. They both have pros and cons. Yeah, it's kind of like the Camp Creek original versus remake. Actually, there's good stuff and bad stuff about both of them. I think just because of like the pacing of the story alone, because that's the part that really gets me. The visuals in both of these I feel like are very like on par with each other, so I can't compare like on a production side of things. On a production side, I say the voice acted one is better music, so maybe on that angle. But you know me, I'm always all about the story and the characters. And in both of those categories, this one takes the prize. In the voice acted one, all the characters, even though there's only 4 of them in the episode, are complete idiots that don't seem to know what they're doing from one moment to the next, and don't even seem to realize that they're going through about everything they're trying to do in all the wrong ways. In this one, they're making the best out of a bad situation, and they're reacting accordingly. Kenny doesn't trust Taylor immediately, because why on earth would he? He actually does kind of like, fight back in terms of his words. I'm actually not entirely sure whether or not he was actually pulling Styles towards that portal, or if he was or if he was just trying to like rescue him from the water originally. But either way, Styles still gives himself away, still tilts himself, because I suppose we had to have one thing that was consistent throughout. Yeah, his characterization, I would say, I prefer in the voice acted one a little bit, because like again, he doesn't fly so far off the handle at Olivia particularly. I'm glad they like toned that one down. But yeah, aside from that, everyone else was just way better in this. Like Taylor and Kenny particularly, who are of course the main two in this. So the fact that they're better in this one, yeah, I'm all on board with that. I really hope that some of this carries over into episode 2.2. Obviously, we can't have everything in this one that we've already done, and there's going to be some things that we're going to miss out because they were introduced in this in a different way. But I feel like we can keep the essence for the most part. So I'm hoping that if that's still being rewritten right now, if it's being worked on in the behind the scenes, that they've already figured that part out, and we'll see what they do from here. So yeah, I think now for real, I'm gonna go. I absolutely used up the extra full back hour I was gonna get, and now I am. But my stomach has not accounted for the extra hour we're supposed to get, so I'm extra hungry now. So I'm gonna go and deal with that. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. And subscribe if you've done this already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.